It's time to get your news on. This broadcast is in text, audio and video and is accessed on wia.org.au.
National news for week commencing June 15, 2025. And this week at the WIA National News Desk from New Zealand, Jim Meechan, ZL2BHF. VK2LAW in Sydney, VK4FUQ in Ingham. From sunny Bendigo, Bruce, VK3FFF. WIA Field Day Manager Roger, VK2ZRH, goes a rovin'. And from the WIA boardroom, Vice President Peter, VK4EA. But wait, there's much more in this edition of news from the Wireless Institute of Australia. I'm Editor Graham, VK4BB.
This news originates from the Wireless Institute of Australia, born to lead since 1910.
G'day, this is Peter, VK4EA, Vice President, on behalf of the WIA Board. The International Amateur Radio Union, IARU, has circulated a proposal to eliminate the regionally based administrations and form a single representative body based in Geneva, Switzerland. We, the board, have questions. Will this result in less representation for smaller regions like ours? How much money will we save given that all the committee members and board members are volunteers? And will the large member societies dominate the discourse, leaving us smaller regions without a voice? And after some considerable deliberation and consultation, the board have arrived at a position to not support the elimination of the regional IRRU organisations. We believe this position provides Australian amateurs better representation at events such as World Radio Conferences and preparatory meetings. We have proposed more frequent virtual Region 3 gatherings to speed up the decision-making process within the WRC cycle. And in other news, now that the dust has settled post the federal election, the board has written to the new Federal Communications Minister, Annika Wells, introducing the amateur service and emphasising the level of participation and our desire to preserve spectrum. Annika is my federal member in Parliament, and I'm working on meeting her and her staff at the local electoral office when her office acknowledges our correspondence. The new website is progressing well. It's taking a bit longer than we expected, but we are confident the process will be worth it. Stay tuned. Well, cheers for now. I'm going back to my nice warm living room. 7-3, this has been Peter, VK4EA, Vice President of the WIA.
Who listens to radio?
I'm Richard, VK2SKY.
Robert, VK3ARM.
Hi, I'm Bob, VK4BOB in Cairns.
This is John, VK5DJ.
I'm Mark, VK6QI.
Justin, VK7, Tangled Whiskers.
That's all.
From here, there and everywhere, you've tuned to the Wireless Institute of Australia's national news service. We are VK1WIA. Now with international news, Jason, VK2LAW.
International news is with thanks to Amateur Radio Daily, ARRL, Hackaday, IARU, ICQ Podcast, IRTS, Newsline, NZART, RAC, RadioWorld.com, RSGB, SARL, and the worldwide sources of the WIA. Hello, first up, India's new prefixes. The VU2 and VU3 prefixes were first issued around 1929 and 1989 respectively. New amateur radio stations in India are now being issued call signs with new prefixes. The prefix range of Victor Uniform 22 to Victor Uniform 29 is for general grade licenses. The prefix range of Victor Uniform 32 to Victor Uniform 39 is for restricted grade licenses. The first call sign authorised under the new rules is Victor Uniform 22 Delta X-Ray, issued to Sandesh Sandy Bhatt, who has recently upgraded his previous restricted grade licence of Victor Uniform 3 Foxtrot Golf Juliet to the newer Victor Uniform 22 Delta X-Ray. The popular amateur radio antennas manufactured by Step IR are being discontinued. WIA has announced that it's stopping production of all amateur radio and other consumer antennas starting in August. The company's statement, which appeared on its website, said it would continue to honour all product warranties and provide technical support as needed. The company said, given our long history of impact and innovation, we don't take this decision lightly, but have decided that it's necessary for our ongoing operations and to make sure that we can continue to efficiently provide our existing customers with product support services. All antenna and spare parts orders will be fulfilled by the company through to the end of August. After the 31st of the month, WIA will sell spare parts as long as the inventory permits. A US man faces $25,000 penalty from the FCC for unauthorised operation of a citizens band radio. The agency announced its decision on May 30th, 2 years to the day after it issued a notice of apparent liability against him. The agency's Enforcement Bureau said that he repeatedly voided his operating authority by sending non-verbal, indecipherable sound effects over long periods, causing malicious interference and engaging in one-way transmissions. Citizens Band Radio is not a licensed service in the United States. Operators retain the privilege of using CB by agreeing to comply with relevant regulations stipulated in their Communications Act of 1934. Meanwhile, the Australian Communications and Media Authority has proposed that reported abuses of citizens band regulations that are deemed serious here should be referred to the police for further investigation. Citizens band operators are covered by a class licence in Australia under the Radio Communications Act. The current regulations are set to sunset on the 1st of October. Public comment is being accepted through to the 15th of July. Listening to this WIA national news in the USA? Then also be listening on the 19th of June for a special FM radio broadcast celebrating Edwin Armstrong's development of FM radio. The call sign Whiskey 2 X-Ray Mike November is etched in cement atop a doorway of the small brick transmitter building in New Jersey, not far from the radio tower where history's first FM broadcasts began in 1938. Those steady transmissions became a reality only 3 years after engineer and inventor Edwin Armstrong had given a public demonstration at an engineering conference, showing that frequency modulation radio could deliver static-free sound, graced with a remarkable fidelity that was previously unheard of. FM broadcasting will return temporarily to W2 XMN's original VHF low-band frequency, 42.8 MHz, beginning at noon on Thursday the 19th of June. The Northern New Jersey tower, once used by W2 XMN, will broadcast a repeat of programming first aired in 2005 to commemorate Armstrong's successful FM demonstration in 1935. The content includes interviews with Armstrong's niece, Jeannie Hammond, and with Tom Lewis, author of the book Empire of the Air, The Men Who Made Radio. According to a report on the RadioWorld.com website, a restored Phasertron transmitter will be running 250 watts of power into a vertical antenna. New York State lawmakers have voted to stop the NYPD's attempt to block its radio communications from the public, with the bill expected to head to Governor Kathy Hochul's desk. The Keep Police Radio Public Act passed both the state Senate and state Assembly, with a sponsor of the legislation arguing the proposal strikes the proper balance in the battle between transparency and sensitive information. The bill, which was sponsored in the Assembly by lawmaker Karines Reyes, is meant to make real-time police radio communications accessible to emergency services organisations and reporters. Weird and wonderful. Are you called Nigel? If so, you can join other amateur Nigels who are making plans to operate a special event station at what is hoped to be the largest ever gathering of Nigels in the world. The Nigel event will run from the 20th to the 21st of September in Worcestershire. Details on how to get involved are on the Golf Bravo 1 November page at qrz.com. For WIA National News, I'm Jason, VK2LAW.
From here, there and everywhere, you've tuned to the Wireless Institute of Australia's National News Service. We are VK1WIA. Now, operational news with Felix, VK4FUQ.
Hello there. Next weekend is our field day. More on that and other contests shortly, but right now let's open the DX window. LDIA PY1 SAD has been active as 8R1TM from Guyana since 1 June and expects to be there until 8 July. He operates CW, SSB and digital modes on 160 to 6 metres and via satellite. During the weekdays he is QRV between 23 hours UTC and 2 UTC. QSL via LOTW, EQSL, QRZ logbook, or 8R1TM via home call, which is PY1 SAD. Listen for Bo, OZ1 DJJ using the call sign OX3LX from Greenland, where he is operating holiday style. He is at Grid Square GP44DE from the 10th through to the 22nd of June. Special call sign PA2025 NATO is on the air throughout this month of June to mark the NATO summit, which is being hosted by the Netherlands on the weekend of June the 24th. QSL details and other information is on qrz.com. A recent joint DXpedition to Kosovo was much anticipated after a series of postponements and delays. What was not anticipated, however, were some of the contacts the two operators had towards the activation's end. Jim Meacham, ZL2BHF, originally for Newsline, gives us those details, then I'll be back with contesting.
Anne, OH2YL, and Marco, OH2LG, were finally ready for that long-awaited 10 days of intense operating deep in the Balkans as Z68YL and Z68OM respectively. The contacts came in exhilarating waves as the pair operated from May 20th through to the 30th. Then, just days before the big finish, the two operators were confronted with a pile-up like no other. Cows, a herd of at least 50 of them, rampaging through the antennas and messing with the guy wires. A blog post written by Jari OH6BG said that, quote, "The guy wires were given the right of their life," end quote. As for the feed lines, well, the cow's teeth took the word feed line quite literally. The feed lines for the end-fed half-wave wire antenna and the 6-metre dipole were both chewed through. With some repair work and a new vertical antenna, the operators were soon back in business. By the time they went QRT, despite high winds, QRM and bovine intervention, they managed to work their way to a total of just fewer than 10,000 QSOs. Resilient, determined and resourceful, they would not be cowed in Kosovo. This is Jim Meachin, ZL2BHF.
This is Roger Harrison, VK2ZRH, manager of the VHF-UHF field days, once again. Do not panic because I'm back. The 2025 Winter Field Day is still on. Nothing's changed, which is why I want to speak to you. I apologise for being too quick last week and ending on what some people felt was an alarming note about discontinuation of the rover category. You can still go roving during the field day, as you will find in the new rules on the website page. You can still rove across the landscape, give and get points, making sure you exchange 6-character sub-square grid locations. If you do, I encourage you to outline your efforts in the soapbox field of your logging program. Be entertaining about it. In moving to use the VK contest log checker, inclusion of the category proved problematic when it came to programming the checking of logs for it. Chairman of the WIA Contest Committee, Alan Shannon VK4SN, put to the committee if the rover category was worth setting up. The majority vote was no, due to poor entry levels. Last week, I updated the text on the VHF-UHF Field Days webpage on the WIA website. There's a lot of new information to read, which I encourage you to do. There we are. Download the new rules. Read them closely beforehand, at least twice. With that done, head for the hills and have some fun. This is Roger Harrison, VK2ZRH, for VK1WIA News.
IAA UHF World Championship. The 24-hour IAA UHF World Championship starts at 1200 hours UTC on Saturday 12 July and ends at 11:59 hours UTC on Sunday 13 July. This annual contest supports amateur self-training and radio communications, improving operating skills, conducting technical investigations and intercommunicating with other amateurs around the world, using the 160, 80, 40, 20, 15 and 10 metre bands. Trans-Tasman Low Band Contest, 19 July. The Trans-Tasman Contest, held on the third weekend in July, aims to encourage low band activity between VK and ZL. Only contest bands 160, 80 and 40 metres are allowed with SSB, CW and digital, RIDI or PSK. IOTA Contest 2025, organised by the IAAU Region 1 Youth Working Group in cooperation with the Hungarian Amateur Radio Society. The aim of the IOTA Contest is to increase youngsters' activity on the air, strengthen the reputation of the IOTA program, and demonstrate support for youngsters across the world. The next two sessions of this year's IOTA Contest will be held 19 July, 29 December. RSGB IOTA Contest, July 26 to July 27, 2025. Remembrance Day Contest. This contest is held every year on the anniversary of the end of World War II, in honour of the Australian amateurs who lost their lives in wartime. This contest is unusual because the trophy goes to the Australian state or territory that scores the highest level of activity. Next contest, 16th and 17th August 2025. For WIA National News, I'm Felix, VK4FUQ Inningham.
Across Australia from VK1WIA, you're tuned to the WIA National News Service. In southwest Western Australia, it can be heard on 160 metres on 1845 kHz at 0600 local time during summer and 0700 local time during winter. I'm Phil, VK6 Golf X-Ray in Kajikana.
From here, there and everywhere, you've tuned to the Wireless Institute of Australia's National News Service. We are VK1WIA. Now, special interest group news with Bruce, VK3FFF.
And a very good day to you. Worldwide Special Interest Groups Digital. The Alberta Digital Radio Communications Society, ADRCS, has announced that its grant to advance their IP400 network project has been approved by ARDC. ADRCS expects to begin work this coming fall. Martin Alcock, VE6VH, Chief Technology Officer of the Society and project founder, said, "This grant will ensure that we can continue our development activity and bring the project goals to fruition." He said it will enable us to recruit top-notch personnel that would have normally been out of our reach. The IP400 project aims to deliver a data communication system capable of 100 kilobits per second minimum data speeds. Initial hardware in the form of Raspberry Pi Zero hat transceivers were demoed at Hamvention. To learn more about the project, join the groups.io list or visit the project homepage. Source code is available on GitHub. Hamword Winlink Games enters 4th year. Hamword has completed 3 years serving hams a daily word game that is similar to the popular Wordle guessing game. Hamword takes place over WinLink, which provides amateur radio operators with an opportunity to maintain brain health and practice their WinLink communication skills. Nearly 500 hams have played over 11,000 games over the last 3 years. You can join the fun by sending a 5-letter word to the WinLink tactical call sign Hamword. You do not have to send messages using your radio connection. WinLink messages can be transferred over the internet using the Telnet interface. More information about Hamword and how to play is available on the Hamword website. Worldwide Special Interest Group's Final Frontier. The Final Frontier comes to Ireland. Abbey Theatre stages a play inspired by amateur radio in Dublin. The world of ham radio and space is brought to the stage with their new play called Static. The Peacock stage will be transformed for an interstellar voyage with a Donegal layover in Jimmy McAlevy's Static. This thrilling world premiere, which explores an astronaut's chance connection with a radio operator over the airwaves, is at the Abbey Theatre until the 18th of July. This play is inspired by events at the end of the Soviet Union when a radio operator in Donegal made contact with a cosmonaut on board Mir. Jimmy McAlevey has been developing the story about human connection and its challenges since then. We hope you enjoy the show. Future Amateur Radio Geostationary Satellite Payload Project. AMSAT-DL, in conjunction with the European Space Agency, ESA, has invited AMSAT organisations to participate in their Future Geo initiative. This initiative is a direct response to increasing global interest in amateur satellite communications and aims to inspire new generations through access to space-based amateur radio platforms with the following objectives: to support innovative amateur radio communication techniques, including wideband and narrowband transponder configurations; to provide a flexible experimental platform for SDR, regenerative transponders and educational outreach; to foster international cooperation among amateur radio societies, space agencies, academic institutions and industry; and to expand the amateur radio footprint to underserved regions, considering optimal geo coverage scenarios. Worldwide Special Interest Groups, IOTA. OC054. The DX Obsessed Group will be active as FW5K from Wallis Island, OC054, from the 20th of October to 7th of November, including a multi-2 entry in the CWWW DX SSB contest. 6 operators will be QRV on 160 to 6 metres CW, SSB, FT8 and RTTY. QSL via Club Locks OQRS. QSOs will be uploaded to Low TW 6 months after the end of the DXpedition. OC065. Lance W7GJ will be active as H40GJ from Pigeon Island, OC065, to Motu Province on the 8th to 27th of August. This will be a 6 metres EME DXpedition using Q65-60A in the Q65 pile-up mode. Lance says, "When I'm not aimed up at the moon, I will be monitoring 50.313 on FT8 mode." He said, "Please take the initiative to call my direction when you think there may be ionospheric propagation. If propagation is good and there are many callers, I may switch to FT4 or FT8F/H on a frequency to be announced. QSL via Low TW or direct to W7GJ. I'm Bruce, VK3FFF from sunny Bendigo.
Across Australia from VK1WIA, you're tuned to the WIA National News Service. It can be heard on ANZAL, that's the Australian and New Zealand Echolink multimode network. The news is automatically rebroadcast every Sunday at 10 a.m. VK3 time. Thanks. This is second operator Helen using John's VK3 HJQ call sign.
And that brings us near to the close of this week's WIA National News. Thanks to Jason, VK2LAW, for bringing us the news last week. Job well done. In fact, so well done, I'll ask you to bring us up to speed again with the social scene.
It's a date. Clubs are welcome to email text with audio for this section to nationalnews@wia.org.au. And coming up in the calendar for the rest of the year, VK5, Adelaide Hills Amateur Radio Society Big Annual Buy and Sell, Saturday, July 19, Marion RSL. Sellers at 8:30, buyers at 10:30. The Australian Ladies Amateur Radio Association 50th anniversary at Glen Waverley, July 26. Email the president at alara.org for information. VK5, AREG's Amateur Radio and Electronic Sale, Sunday the 26th of October at David Roche Park, Kilburn. In VK4, Gold Coast Amateur Radio Society 2025 Hamfest, November 9, Country Paradise Parklands, 231 Beaudesert, Nerang Road. In VK3, Rosebud Radio Fest, Eastbourne Primary School, Rosebud, November 16. And in VK8, Darwin Amateur Radio Club DARC Christmas Party, 6:30pm, December 3. I'm Jason, VK2LAW.
Ta, Jason, and with that, I'm Graham, VK4BB, WIA National News Editor, reminding one and all to walk softly.
This is VK1WIA. All points of contacts from today's news stories are to be found in print when you read the web editions. www.wia.org.au.
This has been the Wireless Institute of Australia with the weekly news service. This broadcast is in text, audio and video and is accessed on wia.org.au.
Courtesy of Bevan, VK5BD's ATV and YouTube channel, this has been WIA National News. We're back now, live and local, and your voice, your callbacks. And don't forget, tick like.